Good evening. Good evening. What's good? Welcome,
What's
of
up?
course. You know, this is chaos with Miss Diamond Live. And tonight I have Mr. TD Tellum, my favorite villain, adversary, so to speak.
I promise I will try to play nice tonight.
You lying.
I
Why
said
you
I'm gonna
lying to me?
try. I said I'm gonna try.
Not
I
even
didn't say I was gonna
gonna try.
succeed. I was gonna try.
You're not even gonna try. Listen, y'all. This gonna be your favorite person because he gets in my ass each and every time. But the other day I made a post and we were discussing the well, actually it wasn't even the early experiences. It just kind of became that conversation. So I'm pulling it up now. Oh my goodness, was this about the conversation? Yes, we were talking about fellatio. I'm going to use proper words tonight. Okay. So we were talking about fellatio and how, men say that they do not come from fellatio. And, one, I like to preference this with this is a safe place. Anytime that you in the building with me, we listen, and I might judge, baby, but I'm not gonna hold it against you because I'm honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you and say I'm not judging. Like, what? Because you're judging me. Okay, let's just be real.
Right.
I'm only here to have real conversations. That's why I tell y'all all the time, don't lie to me. Y'all, you can't even lie to yourself, but don't lie to me. So with that being said, men are saying they don't come from fellatio. And I've met a lot of men who are like, yeah, I don't come from fellatio, but they come from fellatio. And then we have, women who tell their testimonies. And so I posed the question, guys, were you just saying this to get women to work harder? Is this really something that you struggle at coming with? Are you not relaxed enough? Like, what is it? So in the midst of that conversation, we got various responses, and I really appreciate you guys participating. But one of the things TD and I discussed was the early effects of sexual encounters and how that shapes or possibly can shape the trajectory for men going forward. So, with that being said, I'm going to let you go ahead and explain, what you stated, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, when you said the part about asking dudes when they like I don't come from fellatio, and I thought about that and I was like, that's interesting because when I thought about it, I said, you know what? I think that happens to a lot of guys. This is my opinion. I believe that happens because you have a lot of guys who like their experiences, especially like their first experiences with that act, didn't result in them reaching their peak.
Okay.
And because of not just that, but just like what their first encounters sexually were, it really does shape how they respond and react to the experiences that they have, to the intimacy that they have, later down in life.
Mm.
And I stay posting this and I stay commenting with this. But my thing is, so many people are in relationships involved with people that don't really like them. And I think people don't realize how important it is. You need to be dealing with people that really like you. Like, even on your first go round, with your first experience,
Absolutely.
that needs to be someone that needs to be someone who's genuinely into you, who actually wants to be with you. Because I've heard stories from other guys just through the years where they're like, oh yeah, like, when I lost mine virginity, it was with, this girl. Like, I've got these stories from guys who've been like, like, it wasn't like anything like a romantic thing or even like something where it's like, where, they liked each other. It was more of a like him and this girl were in this place together at the same time.
Okay.
And somehow it came up in a conversation that he, still, hadn't had sex. And the girl would be like, oh, for real? What? shoot, I got time. Come on, you never. Come on. Let's take care of that. Which don't get me wrong, it's like, no, I'm serious. That's not a joke. That is not a joke. I'm smiling, but that's not a joke. I'm serious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it's just like, whoa. And don't get me wrong, it's not like it was, it's not like it was non-consensual. Like say, the girl was like, yeah, come on, I got you, no problem, come on, like that. But it's still the fact of the matter was like, it wasn't anything where the girl was just like, where you could tell that she was really into it. It was more like, I got time to kill. Come on, I'll help you out. I'll do you a solid. That's what a lot of dudes' first experience was. It was like, man, so it becomes very very mechanical. Basically, it's just the act of, but it's none of the feeling behind it that a lot of other people experience when they do have sex, especially their first time. So for me, I was like, hey, that's probably why a lot of dudes don't, because it was more mechanical than actually being than the girl actually servicing him because she actually liked him. Because I don't care what nobody says. We had that whole thing where the guy's like, man, it don't matter, I still hit. Yeah, that sounds good, but when you really look at that, that's not the flex you dudes really think it is. It's really not.
I don't know. That's like the number. Like men seriously don't care. You can say, okay, you didn't make me come. Well, I still came. I still hit. Okay, it wasn't good. Well, I still came. I still came. I still came. I still hit. Like that's it. Okay. No, doesn't matter. It was little. Doesn't matter. I still hit. Like they don't care as long as they can mark you on their little belt and be like, oh, I stuck dick in that.
Okay. Now part of that, we got to be honest. Some of that is also where you have where the woman is like trying to shoot him down. We got to be honest. We got to be honest about a lot of those times, because like because that, like when guys do their whole I still hit a lot, that's a defense mechanism. Let's be honest. That's a defense mechanism, because a lot of times it don't matter, you such that girl, she didn't really like you. It don't matter, I still hit. And it's like, no, bro, I'm not trying to short you in a situation. I want you to realize that you really sold yourself short in that situation, And a lot of times, it don't matter, I still hit. Well, that was, because a woman's like, the thing was little. I mean, obviously that's trying to hurt his feelings. So yeah, of course you're gonna be, it don't matter, I still hit. So I get that. But a lot of guys aren't realizing, it goes beyond that. It's not just well, I still hit. Yeah, okay. But still, like, I don't know. I think guys really don't understand. A lot of guys don't understand, man. It really is quality over quantity.
I think that's maybe age-based. Like once you reach a certain level, I'm not even going to say age, I'm going to say maturity. Okay. I'm also going to say a lot of humans don't like constructive criticism. So let's take I'm trying to be petty out of this equation, and I'm just simply being honest, because like I recently experienced this, right? So I told a guy that like I hadn't even come yet. Like we had sex, I gave you the guac 1,000, guac a trilly, whatever, you know what I mean? Like you enjoyed it, right? And you got some cooch, but I didn't come. So he like, yeah, okay. Maybe you're not used to hearing this, but I didn't come. Like I'm at an age where I need to be vocal with you about the experience, because instead of just ghosting you, because let me be quite honest, I'm definitely the queen of, I will just ghost you. But you know what I mean? Like,
come out of here, fade into background.
What'd you say?
I said it'd be like whoosh, fade into the background.
Listen, I mean, I don't understand. Like, I'm simply telling you, like, especially if you're asking me for something and you're not giving me the behavior that warrants me giving you that service, right?
Right.
Why is it that if I'm telling you that, okay, one, I need you to give me something. Like, you just calling me and being like, yeah, I miss you. And okay, I'm sure.
Oh wow. So he hit you with the I miss you, but then afterwards was like the that is nasty work. That
Like,
is
sir,
nasty work.
I haven't ejaculated. I haven't nutted come. Okay, they say women don't nut, but I haven't orgasmed.
Right.
Like, help me, help you. Okay. So, I mean, I think humans and
Mm-hmm.
especially men,
Mm-hmm.
um, don't take constructive criticism well, because I wasn't nasty. I could have
Mm-hmm.
been like, oh, I could have definitely said it differently.
Right. You know what? And see the way you describe the situation again, it sounds like another. It sounds more like he was hitting from a self defense side of it. Like you were like he felt like you were trying to more so like I didn't come, as if you were trying to just like try to embarrass him and talk bad about him. And it's like no, because it's just us here. So it's like nobody, it's not like we're in front of an audience or something, performance wise.
Right.
And that's really that's like one of the biggest issues that I see with this. Like a lot of times dudes are just on self-defense for that. And it's just like, bro, it's not it's not an attack. Like I say, criticism, a lot of times criticism is not an attack. And a lot of people don't see it that way. And in this situation, in these situations, I think a lot of guys see that as an attack. Because it's like if she, like, because honestly, if a woman tells you that, and she really likes you, she's into you, that's not her saying that as a, like, you suck. You got to
Right.
do better. It's more of a, come on. I thought we were in this. Basically, I thought we were in this together.
Right.
You know, so
I posed a question to a friend of mine. I was asking, one, humans, we are programmed automatically to be defensive or to be self-preservation, maybe a better word, right? So if you think about from early on toddlers, when you say, who did that? Or did you do that? And they're like, no, I didn't do it. Early on, like and it's a lie, right? But it's self-preservation. And we automatically go into that mode. So with that, how do we grow out of that as we get older? Because I feel like that's something that we don't grow out of, and that's why we become defensive.
mm, that is something that takes a lot of inner work and a lot of self-reflection. And people don't talk about this, but that is something that we do not get an understanding of, especially at a young age. Like what do they call it? Shadow work.
Okay.
And we don't do that at a young age. That's not something that we're taught, about, having a reflective look at yourself, in more of a, what they call it, introspective. That is something that a lot of us as people in general, we don't start really doing shadow work till we hit like early 30s to early 40s. Like a lot of people don't start doing that shadow work early. A lot of them, it's later down the line in life because, a lot of times you don't even have that understanding of, like a lot of people don't even realize, just how important. A lot of people don't realize just how important it is that that the way they feel about themselves reflects in the treatment that other people give them. A lot of people miss that because because I see a lot of dudes that sit up and they take, like when you see the whole thing like toxic relationships, and you see this where you have guys with women who like you have women that clearly, like, she's clearly just killing time here with you. She's clearly killing time. And these dudes just continue to put up with it. And then you end up with these guys with the same complaints of, man, that's why these women ain't this and the women ain't that. And it's like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but why did you stay? Like, okay, you may not have stayed a year in that relationship, but like the minute that kind of behavior showed up, why did you not bounce?
I think on both sides is comfort. You may not be completely happy with that person, but they're holding a place. They're a placeholder. I feel like people are scared to, or just don't want to, out of selfishness, possibly, to just break up with a person and start fresh, and date and then find the next person. I feel like people like to have placeholders. They like to have somebody in that spot. Everybody wants to have a backup plan just in case. And some people just have multiple backup plans, it's just, I guess it's levels to this.
It's definitely levels to it. It's definitely levels to it. That's why, like I said, it was, there's certain things like, okay, I was talking to someone about this a few days ago. I was like, once you get the first sign of disrespect, like for guys, the first sign of disrespect that you get at that moment, you're supposed to, if you and that person, if you and that woman have been dealing with each other, let's say y'all been dealing with each other for 6 months to a year. Okay. So if you guys been dealing with each other that long, and within that time, it's been no disrespect, everything's been pretty cool, no real issues. But let's say you get that first little sign of disrespect. And when I say that, I'm like, you have to be on the lookout for that, because it can be something. A lot of times it comes not so much as like blatant, you suck and you go to hell. And, a lot of times it's not even that. A lot of times it's those little slick jokes with the disrespectful undertone. Okay. And it's like, yo, if you and that person, if you and her been together, like say like 6 months to a year, okay, with that much time being put in, I would suggest that you check her on that. You don't have to be, violent, overly aggressive, but like, hey, babe, hold on. Now, that right there, we're not going to do that anymore. Okay, so you need to understand, we're not doing that. Right. I'm not sure what's going on. We can talk about it, but after we talk about it, I don't want to see that anymore.
Okay.
After you do that, after you say that, as a man, you have to stand on that business. So if you have that talk with her and you let her know, hey, we're not going to do it anymore. If for some odd reason she does it again, at that point, you got to cut her loose.
Absolutely.
And a lot of guys don't realize this is where you really get disrespected, because a lot of these women will disrespect y'all, and then y'all won't cut them loose. And then the disrespect multiplies, because now she knows you don't stand on business for yourself. So now she's like, oh, so you let me get away like that. All right, then. Let me keep on going.
Let me keep pushing her back.
Right. And dudes just be like, man, she just keep, like, every so often, man, like, be good. And then, man, it's a good day, and I'm thinking we straight. And then she just come in and just starts a mess. And I'm like, how long she been doing that? Like, she just started? Nah, man, she do that. Hey, like the second time she did that, Pip, you was supposed to go. You was supposed to leave. I don't care if you was living in her house. Go get you a hotel room and an extended stay, my brother. But it was time for you to go. You do not stick around for that kind of behavior. And some guys, it's funny because they think, well, maybe if I stick around and do this and do that. No. Once that disrespect kicks in, and she sees that you are not that you're going to stay there for the disrespect, there's nothing you can do that's going to stop it. She's going to keep railroading you for as long as you stay. There is no discussion you can have. There is no favor you can do. Like, I haven't even seen, like, some dudes, I guess they think, well, you know what? She tripping because, maybe I ain't been the best dude and I ain't been acting right. And no, It's the fact that you let her get away with it and you keep
Listen.
letting her get away with it. You have got to stand up for yourself. You cannot be a man in a relationship, let your woman run roughshod over you. It's just not gonna work. I don't care what you as a man have done. You cannot let your woman run roughshod over you, because the minute she realizes she can, the relationship is over. It's over.
Listen. So John said if he a homosexual, he ain't leaving until he got someone else lined up, and that's true. A lot of men. No, I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say some, because some men are homosexual, just like some women. But it is okay. So I have always said it's easier for a man to move in with a woman than vice versa, because men come over, they lay that thing down. They lay it down, okay. Once he lay it down, she like down, okay.
Down.
He coming over the first night, he coming over the second night, he coming over the third night, and now shorty lit it. Okay. But for women,
as soon as he leave that toothbrush behind, that's it.
It ain't even a toothbrush. Shorty brings the whole bag over the fourth night. When he come over, he got the backpack, the Xbox, PlayStation, all the chargers.
Once the Xbox or the PlayStation is there, that's it. That is official. He has officially changed his address at that point.
Exactly. So
his mail coming to that location. It's over. He's over. He in there.
But for women, we come over, and some of y'all don't even want them to spend the night. But if they spend the night, baby, you're definitely not coming back tonight. It might be a few nights later. I might be trying to come to your house now. But yeah, it's not, the woman ain't moving in like that. It's not happening. But these niggas moving on day 4. Some of them day 2, baby.
I'm about to say day 4. You can take that long.
Some of them day 2, but I'm being, I'm just being generous here. So
first day.
Depending on how long she been lonely, it's true.
Just saying. It's over at that point. And I get, and that's true. A lot of dudes do that, but once again, that's an example of you not standing on business as a man. Like, you cannot be afraid to lose that roof over your head if it requires you to take someone's disrespect, especially as a grown man. When you're a teenager, I get it. You have to stay where you stay because, of your age and, lack of experience and what you have available to you. As a grown man, you should be able to make moves so that you can get out of that situation. Even if you don't like, okay, so you get hit with the second or the third level of the third disrespect, and it's like, all right, this is what it is. She's going to be disrespectful, and it is what it is. Okay, you ain't got to leave tomorrow. Let's say you might need a week. You might need 2 weeks. You might need a month. But whatever, the moment you get hit with the final warning, in your mind, you're supposed to be making plans to get out. Whether it take a week, it could take a month, whatever. You're supposed to be making plans to get up out of it. You're supposed to be making them, and you're supposed to be putting them into action. You are not supposed to stay there and put up with that truth. You're just not. And that's where it gets to the point where it's like, I'm starting to see you dudes really don't love yourselves. You don't value yourself. A lot of guys miss this really important part, and it's you teach people how to treat you by showing them what you're willing to put up with from them.
Well, I think that's all across the board. So here's the thing. Men and women both complain about what we do to each other. This is why you always see me say, it's not to the women. It's always to the fellas. You always see me say to the fellas, though, I wish y'all would just live in y'all truth and be with each other. You know what I mean? Because it is, we definitely down you all. Yes. But more often than not, the story is the woman took you in under her wing and enhanced your life.
Mm-hmm.
When you left her, she was more than likely less off than when she met you.
Okay.
Hopefully not, but most often because she's poured it into you, right? Men do not usually, there are some cases, I'm not saying that it's all, but usually men don't bring you in and lift you up. They're not giving you anything. They're not investing anything into you. So we complain about these things, but we also, accept it. And a lot of us are trauma bound to people. And we don't even realize that we form these trauma bonds. A lot of people have abandonment or attachment issues, and they don't realize that because they haven't, done the work to find out why they stay in bad situations and or ignore the red flags that we say that we don't see. Now, I will be honest with you, right? This is where me and you we bump heads right here. There are a lot of flags, and there are a lot of us that the flag is so red that it's basically burgundy, right? And we just ignore it. We done had 1,000 of the flags come flying out. God done came with the flag and then waved it in our face, and we just like
whacked you in the back of the head with his good sandal.
Yes, okay. Yes, that happens every day. But there are some people that truly have perfected their mask and can be everything you want, need, require, desire until the moment they are not.
I'm gonna go easy.
I'm ready.
Like I said, I normally be on your neck behind this.
Let's give them something to talk about.
Men and women, people in general, y'all have got to pay more attention to these behaviors. A lot of people do hide and they try to cover these things up. They do. But I'm sorry. As a person on the outside, and I know I'm not the only one, we on the outside will see the bad behavior, the problem. But the person in the relationship, because they don't want to let that person go and they don't want to start over. Like, that's something I've noticed with a lot of people. Like, people, like, they're afraid to break up and start over. I don't care how long we've been together. Once it goes left, we're done. So it's over.
That is a lot of people. Okay, so there are so many different variations of that, right? So there are people who have been together 20 years, right? And they're old. They can't imagine starting over. The dating scene changes. Okay, let's be real. Okay. From when I got married 10 years ago to today, the dating scene is different. From when I got married, when I got married at 19 to today, the dating scene is different. So, a lot of people don't know how to get back out there into that. So imagine being 55, 57, 60 years old. You're still relatively young, right? And you've been with somebody 20 plus years and you're like, oh my God, I can't take this anymore. But then you look at what's going on in the world around you. And then you start to thinking that 80-20, then you start to overthinking and you're trying to figure out. And for some people, they leave that situation and they get worse. Some people leave and they get better. Some people leave and they get nothing.
The problem with that is those key red flags, they don't take that long to show up though. We got to stop pretending that these we got to stop pretending that this shit don't show up like within the first couple of years, like 1 year or 2 years. People do not hide that stuff as well as, you know, we like to give them credit for. What we do like to do, and I am guilty of that as well. So it's not just, you know, I'm not saying that like I ain't never been. No, I've made that mistake a couple of times multiplied by 5. We will see someone and we will want to be with that person and we will deal with that person. And we will see those red flags. But because we like that person, we will let them slide.
This is true.
And then you will get so many years into it, you've accumulated probably 15, 20 incidents of red flags that you have let slide. That's my issue with it. We love to be like a lot of guys, like with men will be like, you can't really vet a woman. Yes, you can if you're actually paying attention. Like a lot of dudes,
give us 3 ways on the spot, hot seat.
Pay attention to how she behaves. Any sign, I don't need 3. 1, the first sign of subtle disrespect. The first sign of disrespect. Watch them little jokes that she makes. That will tell you the truth right there.
Give us an example for the people in the back that's a little slow.
Basically, like you sitting there saying something like you got an idea, or you just, you know, you feeling pretty good about yourself, and then she want to throw in something like basically trying to cut your ego down.
Okay.
Like something she knows you might be insecure about, because, you know, with her time getting to know you, and then she just, you know, blatantly throws it out there.
Okay.
What my boy said at House Party 3? Trust. Mama said don't trust no one but yourself, and then cut the dick. That's what you're supposed to do. The first sign of that, no, you got to check that. And if you check it and she's still with it, she got to go, or you got to go. But you cannot stay around for that, because like I said, once you let somebody get over on you once, they're gonna keep doing it. It does not. And like when guys be like
wait, what's the post? Before you go further, no. Wait, pause, because I hate to cut you off, but I got a question. You said, now let's take this. Let's take the disrespect out. Let's say you know the first red flag. Let's just say they do something that you don't like in general, that you would consider is a red flag.
Okay.
And you like, oh, well, I'm done. Fuck it. I'm out. Deuces. Mm-hmm. No one is perfect. How do you correct someone and get them to understand? If you're not willing to, you know, at least tell them and give them an opportunity. So then if they do it a second time.
If it's a habit, here's the thing. If it's a habit that you don't like, it's not disrespect, but it's just like, yo, I don't like when you do that. Then if it's something like that, then that's where you talk to them and you're like, okay, hey, you know, I notice you be doing blase. So I just want you to know I don't really like that. And you give them the reason why you don't like it. At least have a reason behind it. So if it's just a case of I don't like that because I just don't like that. Because then what did I say though? That's shadow work. You gotta figure out, why do you not like that? Like, what is the issue with that? A lot of times guys know why they don't like certain things, but they don't take the time to really just, you know, get to the core of it. But if it's not like I said, if it's not the disrespect, I can understand that. But that's my thing. Guys be getting blatantly disrespected in relationships and sticking around. That's my issue. It don't be like, you know, well, she got this habit and I don't like, man, like she come home, the way she throw her bra over on the side.
Right, like she come out, leave her clothes right there.
Yeah, like, okay, whatever. You know, that's not the biggest of issues. You know, that's something that's just a hobby from, you know, she probably does that because she, you know, used to living by herself. Now that you're there, okay, certain things you have to change, talk to her about that, blah, blah. I'm talking about just blatant disrespect.
You tell her about it, and she like, nigga, this my house. I've been living on it.
Yeah, like that level of disrespect, blatantly like trying to call you, like basically trying to make you seem like, like you're not everything that you feel that you are. Like she's clearly trying to cut you down.
Right.
Out.
Absolutely. And that's vice versa. I mean, I feel like anything that, because I don't want men to feel like we are getting on you. This actually is about you and how the effects that we have on you shape your the culture. And honestly, I have to agree with you, TD.
See, I didn't even have to stand on your neck for this one. See?
No. I mean, just all around, when you say you truly have to date someone who likes you. But here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Here's where I hold you men accountable. Okay. So when you pursue us women, right? And I don't mean when you just shoot your shot and, we go on a date, or we talk on the phone, or we texting, right? I'm talking about you really putting in effort. You're dating us. We go out. We have experiences. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you get some coochie. Mm-hmm. Now, because we've gone out, we spent this time together, we kiki kaka, we've invested, because time is something you can't get back. So that's an investment. If I'm giving you my time, I'm investing in you, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially if I spend money too. Mm-hmm. I assume you like me. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just stupid enough to think that you actually like me. Mm-hmm. And when you spend your money and you spend your time, mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, we like each other. Mm-hmm. Right. So what'll be happening after y'all get that coochie? Now, let's not say you didn't like the coochie, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let's not say it was a one-nighter. You continue to talk to this young lady. Mm-hmm. Like, why y'all be wasting time after that and don't know what you want? And really, you sign up for things that you don't really want, mm-hmm. to take this young lady off the market. Mm-hmm. And we think you like us. Mm-hmm. And now we've invested this time, this energy, mm-hmm. the miles on the coochie, the money, the
miles and the miles and the money on the coochie, or just the miles on the coochie?
The miles on the coochie. And I mean, I spend money on the people I like. I don't know about other people. Mm-hmm. I invest. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what are we doing? You still don't know?
No, I'm no, I can respond now because I want to make sure you get it all out. That's all.
Yeah, because I mean, there are two versions of that. There are the people that waste your time, and then there are people that sign up for the service. Like, oh yes, I like you. I want to be your boyfriend. I even want to marry you. Either or. And then they get the stick in their penis and other people. They get the not dating you anymore. Mm-hmm. And let's be real, y'all be posting them memes about how it's harder to get coochie in-house than out-house.
Always remember, I don't co-sign that.
Baby, sometimes it's harder to get penis in-house than it is out.
Is it really? For real?
So, before you respond, I do want to go to some of the comments we had. Larry said, all of us have red flags. What are you and aren't you willing to put up with? This is the question. A relationship is only as strong as the respect is given. John said, seriously, though, it's really accountability to understand your partner and compromise when it's the hardest. And then Bryant said, personally, if we are dating considerably before we have sex, I'm investing to have sex with you. Have sex with you on an exclusive basis. Maybe you meant on an exclusive. Okay, you meant on an exclusive basis. Okay, baby, my bad. it threw me off. But yeah. So okay, Mr. TD, let's talk about it.
All right, so you're right to hold the man accountable for that, because here's the thing: the problem begins where the guy is like, he wants this woman, but he himself has not figured out what exactly do you want that woman for. I know you've seen this online, and I've read it a bunch of times where guys like, you got to lie to a woman and make her feel good, and we're going to normalize telling women the truth, because women that really like you tell them the truth, they really like you, they still rock with you. So this goes back into the whole, you guys gotta be better, you gotta be a better vet of that woman, her character and just who she is. So like, you're not supposed, and you know what? And here we go. Let's say this. I don't, we don't want to lie. Why you gotta lie? Why you gotta lie? You do not have to lie to a woman, because my personal favorite question is always gonna be, whose ass is she finna whoop? Like, if I tell you the truth, if I tell you, hey, you know what, babe? So, like, the other day, man, I saw this shit, man, and I mean, man, shorty bad, bro, like, for real. Like, whose ass is she gonna be? Not mine. Like, no, seriously, like, dudes be scared to tell women the truth, and I'm like,
people don't want to lose what they have. That's what it is. People are so.
But okay, hold on. Let me touch that. I gotta say that. You're right. People are afraid to lose what they have, but what they don't realize is a lot of times what you have, you don't really have it. If you can't be honest in order to have it, then you don't have it.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. If you have to lie, misrepresent yourself to have it, you've already messed up. You don't have it. That is not real. It's an illusion. And you are lying not only to the person you're trying to have, but you're lying especially to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Brian said, one thing I got fearful of is being transparent with my shortcomings, especially when I really like someone. Rejection is too much of a friend of mine. So, yeah, I mean, listen, nobody likes rejection. I'm the queen of BB. I will definitely just keep it to myself rather than be rejected, because what we all feel like, let's be real. Who are you to reject me? I'm the shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a person, you're not their cup of tea, it's kind of like the audacity. What you mean? I'm not your cup of tea, baby. I'm everybody's cup of tea. So that's one thing. We have that ego. Ego plays a huge part in how we live our lives. And once we actually acknowledge that and understand that sometimes that's what's driving us, we will handle a lot of situations a lot better. Also, it has become not just women who throw things back in your face, but men do it too. If people do it, humans, like even if you are honest, because I've dated men and women, and baby, I will tell you, men usually accept everything, whatever, unless it's dealing with another dude, depending on the dude. Some of you dudes don't mind when you're women with another dude, but most anything else, unless it's with another dude, they with the shits, right? And you tell them, they like, oh, okay, cool, because dude, y'all be so freaky deep down inside, no matter how clutch your pearls you are online about women and their bodies and what they do and blah 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 blah. But women, like, when you are super honest with them, baby, they is judging you all day, every day, twice on Sunday. So, it does become hard to be honest with people because they use it against you. That vulnerability is very hard in this day and age, because we've become very malicious in what people are willing to give to you. And that's kind of sad.
Now with that, I agree, but that goes back to where I say, especially as a person speaking for the men, speaking towards men. As a man, that is a part of standing on business and accepting who you are. Because as a man, you know your shortcomings. So, okay, like it's no secret, people know me by now, well, I did a while where I was living in my car. It is what it is,
Right.
And I remember some people trying to throw that in my face, like, you was just sitting there living in your car on McDonald's Wi-Fi, and now you want to act like you can't hurt me telling me that I fell off, especially when you telling me I fell off after I got back on.
Right. You trying to shame me.
Like,
that's a part of my testimony now, baby.
Like, bro, really? Like, I remember that. So, yeah, I've seen people, they'll try to throw stuff in your face. But when you as a man know what it is, when you know what you've been through and you've accepted it and you accepted the part that you played in going through those things, people can't throw it in their face and embarrass you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens to a lot of guys. They get so embarrassed. And it's like, bruh, it's not that serious. Just like in case of rejection, like I've been rejected so much. But so what? Like when you say, like, okay, I'm not your cup of tea. That's fine. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Because guess what? Everybody's not my cup of tea either.
Right.
A lot of that time when guys deal with that, and I'm like, man, I think it's funny because a lot of guys, they fear rejection because they're afraid of a woman like hitting them with a harsh rejection, like, no, get your sorry. Why would I look like Holland? I wouldn't give you a chance. Let me tell y'all something. That is not a common rejection. The majority of women, when they reject a man, it is, oh, that's sweet, but I got somebody, or that's nice, but I'm not interested. That's really what you get hit with. That's the majority of the rejection. So there's not something to even feel some type of way. It's just like, okay, she don't like you like that. That's cool. Right. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You're just not a good fit for her in her eyes. And it's not your job to make her think otherwise. It is your job to accept it and move on to the next. Mm-hmm. Too many times I see people, especially guys, shoot their shot, get shot down, and then keep shooting the shot. Like another friend of mine told me, and this is very true. You don't give anyone more than one chance to tell you that they don't want you.
This is true. This is true. Okay?
You don't let nobody get multiple chances to shoot you down. Once you get shot down, you take that and like, all right, you know what? Take care and keep moving. There was someone I remember shooting a shot at not too long ago. And she hit me with because I was like, yeah, you keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna have you. Just watch. And she responded, I'm talking about didn't waste no time when she said, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I didn't get mad. I wasn't like, ugh. I was just like, I get it. Move on. Right. That's just life. You're going to get rejected. You're not going to get accepted for everything, and that's fine. That's not a diss against your character as a person or your quality as a human being. You're just not a good match, and that's fine. You move on and you find those that are a good match for you. That's what that is. In the case with a lot of these red flags, like I said, we are letting obvious red flags slide. But no, before we even go there, when we go back to what you said, like the whole thing where the guy lets you spend all that time and everything, this is the biggest mistake. The dudes don't know what they want the women for that they're going after. Like, I'd be like, seriously, think about what do you want? And I'll tell the guy, it doesn't have to be some deep involved relationship or meaning. If you just want to fuck, that's fine. But deal with her so that she knows that's what you're there for. And that's the problem. A lot of dudes don't want to, admit that, I'm just coming through, swinging through here, just, top it off, and then, going back to my life and yours, because a lot of dudes be like, man, if you tell a woman that, she ain't gonna trust me. A lot of women will be perfectly fine with that. It's the honesty. Just let them know up front.
So Bryant said, well, when you lose a girl to a man with no arms or legs, there's not much left of the ego. But we'll save that discussion for another topic. I will just say, Brian, she wasn't worth, whatever it is that you were offering. Um,
Yo.
no, I mean, listen, let me say this.
Yeah, go for it.
We laugh at the fact that this person had no arms and no legs, and to you and to some, he would be less of a person, let alone less of a man, right?
Literally.
But maybe to her, he had all of the qualities and necessities to satisfy her. But and that's no shade to you, Brian, but that you probably dodged the bullet. Who, you know what I mean? Like I don't even, that's just wow. Duh.
No, but stranger things have happened. But see, once again, like when you lose a woman, like basically when a woman leaves you to be with another guy, you don't worry about why she left. Just know that she left and accept that and keep it moving. That's the hardest thing for a lot of guys to understand. Don't worry about why she left. And I say that because remember how I keep posting the one with the girl that was like talking about, she dropping it for $12 and for $15 you can get the train.
Listen, I'm so sick of you and this goddamn meme.
I'm never letting it go, bruh. That is so that one and the one where the women in the group, are we dating the same inmate?
Okay, listen. Okay, all right. Okay, so listen. Clearly, some women, right, are just lonely and desperate. I don't know what has happened in their lives for them to think that the love of their life is in somebody's cell block. Especially if you didn't know them prior to going to said cell block. Okay, I don't understand it. But listen, I done seen niggas fuck chickens. Okay, I mean, so what are we talking about? Women and men, okay, alike, do some strange, raunchy, ridiculous, diabolical, cynical, downright filthy things. Ooh, we definitely need a blunt and some Jack. So to answer your question, Brian, the bad boy complex. Damn it, what was we watching the other day? I was watching with my daughter and I was like, I should have known something was wrong with me then when I chose this person over somebody else. I gotta go back and ask her because from an early age, I've always liked the defiance. Not necessarily considered a bad boy, just you just move by the beat of your own drum because that's who I am. I move to the beat of my drum. We're gonna have to talk about that. I'm gonna put that in the parking lot for another show. Because that bad boy complex, baby.
It's not so much a bad boy complex. What a lot of guys don't understand. It's not so much the bad boy complex, but speaking to the guys, especially the ones that call themselves nice guys. You fellas got to understand, you can be nice and not be a pushover. And that's really what's messing a lot of y'all up out there. You guys are being pushovers. It goes back to what I said about the whole thing about the disrespect. You guys are dealing with women and they are doing things to you that the guys that they really like would never let them do to them. So you think, well, that dude she crazy about, he would never let her monopolize his time, moving all her stuff, doing this and doing that. So I'm gonna be a better man than him. And I would no, you're not being a better man than him. There's a reason why he would not let her monopolize his time, and you should not let her do that with yours as well. You're not being a nice guy, you're being a pushover. If you cannot stand up, if you cannot stand up to your woman, she know y'all ain't gonna make it. If you can't stand up to her, you definitely can't stand up to nobody else for her.
Listen, that's the one thing for certain, two things for sure. My mother will tell you, you definitely gotta be time enough. And I don't, and it's 2025, that doesn't even sound right. Time enough. It's just you gotta be a man. Because anything less than that, I'm definitely gonna walk all over you. Not even on purpose. Like it's just that's who you are. You know what I mean? Like it's
now you getting it. You getting it. Women don't even be trying to do it a lot of times. It's not a conscious decision most of the time. It's just a natural biological response of I'm gonna pull his card. And the minute she pulls your card, you supposed to be like, hey,
okay.
What we are not gonna do today, tomorrow, or ever again is this. And again, like I said, if she tries that again after you've given her that warning and you let her know what it is, you're supposed to let her go. Most of these problems a lot of you guys have with women is because other men who came before you didn't let these women go after they crossed those boundaries. That's why they're so comfortable constantly crossing boundaries. He ain't gonna do nothing. I took that last nigga. I took his car, drove it, and wrecked it. And he loved that car. But guess what? We still together. So it don't matter. He put so much time into that car, but guess what? He didn't leave. See, that was the problem right there. Once she crossed that line, he was supposed to let her go. So she's never had to learn this lesson. So a lot of times what you dudes really need to be doing is helping these women, is teaching them that lesson of, you know what? I told you not to do it. You did it. So you got to go. And that's it.
Women, I want you to hear that, ladies, okay? Because that goes for us as well. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let's be real. Those red flags, we ignore. Once we address them and they still red, we need to be up out of there. We need to start standing on business too. We need to stop causing and allowing our own heartache and pain and suffering and misery and debt and children. It's okay. So, some of us like projects. That's another conversation because we can dig deeper and deeper into that.
Y'all don't like projects. People don't like projects. What it is, it's like a lot of people aren't willing to do what they need to do to go get who they really want. So they like to get a unique fixer-upper opportunity and try to turn that person into what they want. So it's not so much you hear a lot of women a lot of us women, we like projects. No, it's not that you don't like. It's not that you like projects. You know the type of dude you really want, but guess what? You know that you either are not the woman that can get that guy, or you're not willing to do the work on your end to get that guy. So what you do is, I'll get a reasonable facsimile, and if I add a little this and add a little that, eventually he'll be indistinguishable from the real thing, which might work with a purse, but with a person, not so much.
Well, with that being said, we definitely have plenty more to discuss. I thank you all for tuning in with us tonight. having Mr. TD tell him, Mr. On my ass and on my neck all the time.
I didn't even give you no hard time tonight, though. I was
Yeah.
so nice.
Listen,
Okay, canceled.
that's tonight. That's tonight. Siri nosy ass. But usually, I mean, this was something that we actually kind of agreed on. But until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Chaos Network with Miss Dime the Vibe, and I will see you on the other side.
Y'all take it easy.